close the chapter on this last game? Look forward to Seattle.
Well, after watching the game, it wasn't it wasn't as bad as I thought. Although there were some little habits and some details that we've done in previous away matches to get success that we didn't do. In particular, defending the box and dealing with some of the areas that we know they exploit time after time. It doesn't make it easy that you know sometimes what they're going to do with the service and where they're going. But, again, I thought it was a good prep in that we understand them and we just didn't execute on the defensive end in some moments. Give them credit. Again, they're rounding into form, and Driussi is playing at a high level again, and his service changes them. But just, it's a good reminder, or a good chance to respond against another good team in Seattle. Seattle does some of the similar things well that Austin does, and some of that is service, switching the point of attack, overloading, and so gives us a little bit of a dry run or a chance to get better in some of those areas to have some success in Seattle. So, but not the end of the world. We're on a good run. A little blip. It's a tough place to play. We haven't won there, and so it's certainly not the end of the world, but a nice little punch in the gut to get us back to where I think we need to be.
Looking at later today, the league will announce that Victor was named to the All-Star team.
Yeah.
What does it mean to have him represent the team in this kind of event against a team like Olsen?
Well, someone told me today we haven't had an All-Star since 2017. It's a little alarming, but that's it's great to have a representative from our club going to the All-Star team. There's a lot of good players in this league, and every year there's more stars and more high-level qualities, and then you have some guys that come out of nowhere and have really good years. So it's not easy to make that squad, and he's earned it. There's no doubt that he's deserving of the honor, and I know he'll represent us in the right way, and it is important to have someone involved in those festivities. So it's great. Team's happy for him. We talked to the team this morning. So all good.
Something else on the line as far as the international tournament. The Leagues Cup is right around the corner. The team will go to Orlando, then come back and host Santos.
Yeah.
For you navigate international tournaments at the club level on the national team side as well. What does it mean for these two leagues to play and then just focus on this one singular tournament and then kind of pave a path or another path to the CONCACAF Champions Cup?
Yeah, there's a real carrot at the end of this, and so we'll certainly go after it, and in the same way we went after the Open Cup, and every game we have in the MLS, it's the next game. It's important, and I understand the importance from the league standpoint. I know there's a lot of emphasis on it. The reality is we don't know what the tournament looks like. This is our first time. It's an inaugural thing, so there'll be a feeling out of what the recipe is, but I can tell you we'll go after it and put our best foot forward to try to advance out of our group, and then go from there.
How do you see the rivalry kind of develop from, I guess, the MLS and the BMX side, or just in general between the two countries in the last few years?
Well, I've been involved in this type of competition for 27 years. So my first few years at DC United as a player, we were successful, so we were always in CONCACAF, and we were constantly playing Chivas and some of the best teams in the CACSA and some of the teams that were ruling back then in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I get a lot of respect for the competitions and the rivalry and the animosity, although some of that has changed as there's been more players going there and coming here, and there seems to be more of a mutual respect now because of where our leagues, how far our league has come, and the results that we've put up recently against Mexican teams, and not only on the international stage or on the club stage, but also the international stage. So it's super healthy competition to have them in our region, and us it's important. I think it's important, and this is just probably the first step into some something that I think will continue to grow in these competitions between the two countries, three countries. Sorry.
Seattle only won one game since they beat us here at home. Since they beat the team here at home, I've lost 4 and tied 3 times. I've been scoreless the past 2 games. Knowing that, what's the mentality going to be entering Seattle?
Well, we're not going to take them lightly. I'll tell you that. If you watch them play, it's similar to Austin, and they had some losses, but then you watch them play, and they're on the doorstep a lot, and they've got extremely high quality players. So nothing will change as far as what form they're in. We'll worry about our form and make sure we're well versed in them, and with the message of we want to respond after a loss. Again, it's a tough trip. They all are in the MLS, and we'll have to be better than we were in Austin.
Seattle currently sits 3rd place with 29 points. The Dynamo 4th with 27. Another factor, taking that in.
Yeah.
Obviously, with a win or even a result, could help get 1 point closer
Sure.
to them, or even jump over the standings.
Well, that's always the goal, right? But it's not really necessarily about. It's just about moving up and trying to continue to put points on the board. Again, it's a tough league to go away and get results, but we've shown recently that we can do that. But we have to be at a certain level to do that. You almost have to play perfect games on the road here in the MLS, especially in the West, with some of the quality that these teams are bringing. But we're capable of that. We've shown that. Again, this week we have a full week of training, which is nice. It's the first time in a month and a half since we've had a full week of training. So it's nice to get back to a rhythm to prepare for Seattle.
And lastly, since we last talked here at home, where Thor scored a brace, came on against Austin, any update on where he stands on the depth list?
Same spot he was before that. He's done great, but subs, that's your job. You come in, and your job is, particularly when you're up and you can transition and have counter opportunities. That's your job, is come in and do the work defensively and then score a goal if you have an opportunity, or 2. So he did great. He put a pretty good shift in when he came in Austin, and so Ibrahim's still our starter. I know he's had some trouble getting his first goal, but there's a lot of little things he still does. We have a lot of faith in Thor. We could start him, and we think we could do fine. And I also say Sebas came in and gave us a little spark the other night too. So it's about when your time's there, whether it's a sub or whether you're starting, just give us your best, and things usually work out.
Actually, I do have one more.
Keep going, man. I'm here all day for you.
The transfer window opens up July 5th. Quinones, where does he stand? There's been some talks or rumors appearing that he'll sign. Obviously, just what you can tell me.
Yeah, we like Nelson, and we think he's really over the last month and a half started to progress and get some of the ideas that we want to see in him, and he's been effective in a few games to cause havoc and create and make plays. He's still a work in progress. He still has some moments. Austin, there were some things that he could have did better, and so this is part of his growth and moving him forward. And it's rewarding as a coach to see him and work with a kid like that, has so much talent to push him to become the player that he needs to be. So I don't get caught. I don't talk to agents and other teams and things like that. We have smart people to deal with that in Asher and Pat, and I know they're in contact with the club to see what the possibilities are of him sticking around. So we'll keep you in the loop. We'll probably hopefully have some additions here, but keep in mind we brought a lot in early in this transfer with Ibrahim, Eric, We've made some moves early in this year that have helped us, because we value the time now with some of these players. After the transfer window, there's only so many games. Quite a bit of the season's gone because of the Leagues Cup, jamming a lot of games in before that. So a lot of the season is done before these kids can play.
Speaking about the transfer window, after what Miami has done the last couple of days,
What have they done?
Bringing a little some players, that puts a lot of more pressure in the rest of the clubs. Right? We have to bring more names.
I think some clubs maybe would feel the pressure of thinking about, we need names. But I think you got to be careful with that. They have to be the right names, and they have to be the right guy to fit your team, how you want to play, your culture you want to create, and your community, and all. There's a lot that goes into these players. So you have to be careful just picking out the name and saying we can sell some tickets, but each team's different in how they want to go about that, and so he will change things in this league. I don't know if we're totally sure on how, but we're all sure that he's going to change things, most likely for the better, in exposure and television, eyeballs, infrastructure, sponsorship, and players. And now I think more players will look at MLS as an opportunity, and maybe even more so than we have now. But it's a desirable league. It's a great place to live. The teams are in a great city. The infrastructures are great. The stadiums are great. The pay is increasing every year. These guys make good living. So it's a great league. It's only going to get better, and he's going to pour some gasoline on it.
You have to adapt to a lot of things during the game, maybe a red card or injuries, but now also the weather, when it does lightning, now it's the heat, moving times. How do you work that?
We spend a lot of time talking about it. This is my first run in managing a team in Texas, South Texas, and it's real. You come here and people talk about it, but when you experience it, not only for the staff, but more importantly for these players that are out here every day. We have 19 new players, so a lot of these players have also not been in this atmosphere, in this weather. Some are coming from Europe, where they only see this when they go to vacation, this type of weather. So that is something we speak about quite a bit. We have a bunch of smart guys that make sure our physical preparation is smart and logical, but also we're still pushing them and making sure that we still hit the right metrics so when we go into the game, we're not deconditioning. And again, it's not a perfect science, but we certainly put a lot of brain power towards it, and are very thoughtful about what we're doing every day and how long, how hard. And some of the guys that are in charge of that have been around here and understand the summers in Houston and how to go about that. So we're lucky in that way that the guys that are in charge of that aren't first-timers in dealing with this. Make sense?
Yeah.
Somewhat?